Hello everyone, and welcome back to Krastorio 2. This is Otaku Showboat. If you have been enjoying this series thus far, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below. You can, of course, support me on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushowboat if you are so inclined and able. So, a few things to note that I have done between last time and this time, as per usual at the beginning of these videos. So, I said that I would work on getting into the current science packs that I've already made on the bus and getting them made for my train network and on my train network, and I have done just that. That is everything. We finished off at the end of the last video with setting up the electronic components. We were just waiting on a delivery of plastic before it started making those electronic components. So those have been operating now that I have some plastic getting made. I did expand my plastic, doubled the production of that, so we are a lot better off there than we were last time. I have my basic tech cards being made right in here. It's just wood and copper in the form of copper cables to make the basic tech cards. This is 15 per second on this build, and I have every intention of deleting and modifying this build to be more conducive to having higher level modules as well as beacons later on down the line, and that will apply to all of my science builds going forward. Now, the next level of science, the automation science, needs automation cores, so I decided to put the automation cores in their own separate factory so that I have them and can just request automation cores at my mall wherever I decide to actually set up my bot-based mall. It also needs blank tech cards for the next all levels of science, so I have set up some blank tech cards right down here. This is 60 per second, 2 red belts worth of the blank tech cards. It is just iron and copper for these guys. And this is at ratio. It is 1 building making copper cables into 4 buildings making the blank tech cards. This is not built to be particularly conducive to have beacons, so it will be redone once I can start getting into all of the module and beacon shenaniganry. And then over here I have the actual tech cards. The automation tech cards are being produced right in here. It is simply a request of the blank tech cards and the automation cores in this train station, and it's 15 per second out of the automation tech cards into a single train. And right down below, bringing in iron, green circuits, as well as more blank tech cards, is the logistic tech cards, our green science, another up to 15 per second, as long as I have enough green circuits to feed this thing. This is technically, if operating at the full 15 per second, eating all of my current production of the green circuits, but we can scale that over time. We can scale that over time. This build here, I think, is 15. Oh no, it's 30. It's 30. So it's using half of my production. I was mistaken. I thought it was using all of it, but no, it's using half of it. So good, I have some extra for what we're going to be doing today, which is going to be getting into the red science. The red science? No, the red circuits are advanced circuits, and then getting into the chemical tech cards are blue science. And then right in here, all of this mess. What is all of this mess? It looks like I actually missed a few rail segments in between these. I'll take care of that at some point next time I go up there and when I need those. So there are a few different types of science packs slash tech cards in Krastorio 2, a few extra compared to vanilla, and I went ahead and I set up the entire train station to request all of these. Over time, I will need to change what labs I'm using, and also I need to note that later phases, later techs, much later techs, aren't actually going to use the early tech cards anymore. So once we get through all of the science that takes those early tech cards, I don't think that there's really any infinite technology that uses all of the tech cards, which is a little bit of a shame, but I have a way of dealing with that because crushers exist. So, because crushers help to, well, they void solid items, I think my plan is that once I get through all of the science that uses those initial tech cards, I will start to void my production of those initial tech cards up to a certain amount per second, and that's how we will measure the capability of my base of producing every science pack to certain amounts. So yeah, as you can see here, this mining productivity, the infinite level of mining productivity, it is production and up on the tech cards. It doesn't have any of the previous, which is a little bit of a shame, to be completely honest. I would like to have some infinite technology for Krastorio that uses all of the tech cards, some sort of like void tech that doesn't really unlock anything, but uses immense amounts of every science pack just to get a good measure of what my base is capable of producing. Because we may have some tech goals going forward. Some production goals for the tech cards, I should say. And this is all set up to use all of what I can use in these basic science labs for the belts. And this is a line of 40 labs. The upgraded labs will be able to accept the production and utility tech cards, at least those, and I think everything prior to that. And then there'll be another third level of lab that will take all of the advanced stuff. And I noticed that there's actually very specific buildings required to make the production and utility stuff, which is interesting, to say the least. So with all of that said, 8.5 minutes in, the goal for the day today is to set up red circuits as well as the chemical tech cards. And I have set up my little train stations down in here, right in this zone. The intent is that I will build the red circuits above, right in here, and I guess the chemical tech cards right in here on this side. And that'll leave room. I could put another train station in here if I want to tap into this stone in particular, or the iron. I could add another station up here and shove the stone into it. That way, I've got enough room for a station for the uranium as well. I don't think I'm going to have a station anywhere near in this mess of things. While I would like all this coal, and while I would like this stone, I would have a train station up here for that. If I were to tap into these things. So I guess one last thing to note is just a logistical side of things regarding my YouTube channel going forward. There will be a period of time where I will not be streaming because I will be out of town, and therefore this video and onwards, I am not going to really be doing work off screen anymore. So we've hit the end of that for now for the foreseeable, like 10 videos ish, around that many at least. Just because I need to pre-record a lot of videos for an entire week that I'm going to be gone, including 2 weekends. So it's like 9 days where I'm physically gone, and I have work to do once we come back, because I am literally, while I'm gone, I am going to be packing and loading a vehicle with stuff, and then I have to a truck, a 15-foot U-Haul truck, and then unloading it once we get back here to Virginia. So I will be very busy not this weekend, but the following week, and I just need to get all of this sorted. So the week of Columbus Day of 2020, I am not here. So not as much time to do any off-screen work is my point, and I will be recording these well ahead of time, so if I make any mistakes and you want to make comments about those mistakes, go ahead and make the comments about the mistakes, but chances are I'm not going to be able to actually fix mistakes if I don't notice them in that series of videos until after I get back and start recording a lot closer to when the videos go live. Anyway, red circuits is the point today. These need green circuits, electronic components, and copper cables to make these. I can request the plates for the copper as well as the electronic components and the electronic circuits, so this ends up being a pretty simple build here for these red circuits. So let's set this up in Hellmod really quickly so that I can get an idea of how much stuff I'm going to need to take with me here. So let's just, for sake of argument, say 15 per second there, use the entirety of my current electronic circuit production. Then we get into a very, 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 very interesting discussion. So I'm not making 15 electronic components. Like, that's not what I planned out and did last time. I think I did 5. Yeah, I did 5 electronic components last time. I did not scale that up either, so we'll have to do that at some point as well. And since I can only do 5, I may as well only do 5 here. But we get into the concept of why have green circuits being brought in when I can make them locally? Well, A, it reduces what I'm building there in the first place, and then there's this concept of, from programming, of not repeating yourself. This is repeating myself. I already have areas doing green circuits. Why repeat yourself by having this setup done again somewhere else? So I will at least stick to this and scale my green circuits. However, you also have to take into account how many green circuits you need over time, and if you have the space and materials for that. By designing in this way, I can think about red circuits as being this stuff here. Realistically speaking, I could think about it as also being this stuff here for the electronic components. But just to leave it from the iron and copper perspective, if I really want to know how much iron and copper I need and the ratio of stuff going into the advanced circuits, I can think about it this way. But I'm not going to do that. I am going to just bring in the as final of products as possible and work from there. Now, I don't do that for the... I don't have a special separate factory for the cable, the copper cable, or the copper wire, excuse me, just because it's twice as voluminous. It's less dense of a product, so you're not able to move as much of that stuff logistically as you can the copper plates. So I prefer the more dense, quote-unquote, stuff to move around. I do know that the tech cards aren't like that. They are less dense, but they are also used just in tech. And they're a little bit of a mess of various things to make. So in this case, by having the tech cards, even though they are less dense than their component parts, it saves a train station request, which I am going to put higher value on saving the train station request. So for this, I'm going to need one additional input station, so I can go ahead and copy and paste the additional input station here, and we can see the process that I use to actually build these things. And never forget to have the yes, complaining about the same name and all that. There we go. So you are going to request what? Electronic components at red circuits 1. You are going to request copper. Do I want this one to be the copper, or do I want this to be the green? Green circuits at red circuits 1. And this one, of course, will be our copper at red circuits 1. And this will be S red circuits 1. And the depots are going to be depot red circuits 1. And that is all of the names taken care of. So, this is copper plates. This is green circuits. And this is the electronic components. Huzzah. Now, if I pin this, so I can see the numbers of things, I need 4 buildings doing the copper cables. I will go ahead and have these be completely separate from the rest of the lines. I'm going to also go ahead and build in this way, this orientation. Go up and go over. You are going to be making those things, the wires, glorious cables / wires, etc. And this is going to need how much throughput on each item. Okay, I'm going to have the electronic circuits and the electronic components sharing a belt. I think that would be the best solution here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. I see kitty. A kitty is emerging. It's an ollie. A wild ollie is emerging from behind my desk. Behind my TV. Between the stuffs. Hello. Hello. No. You're not leaving. You're gonna say hi. You're gonna squirm and you're gonna say hello. Hello. Hello, my boy. Hello, Ollie. That's my boy. Yes, go. Do what you want. Do the kitty things. Wonderful kitty things. Part of me wants to shift this a little bit further to the left just to make it a bit easier loading, unloading into that train station, but you know what? We're gonna stick to it like this. Off we go. We're gonna go down. Gonna go down. Oh, really? Oh, really? Also, as it turns out, uh, that does not work with Krastorio loaders. Unfortunately, it does not work with Krastorio loaders. The way that I had set it up over here for the stone into the sand, I had to change that. That is one smaller thing I forgot about and just remembered. That is very, very important. So with Deadlocks loaders, you can absolutely do something like this, and it will load the lane on the side. Here it will not on these Krastorio ones. Just be very aware of that. Be very aware. So we have stuff now. Let's bring this out and over. And shove it in. I am going to use loaders on the output here. Because it is less than 15 per second. Just so's you know. And clearly I'm going to be building in this fashion. No reverse fangs this time, or no fangs. Just because, as it turns out, the distance works out quite well on the medium electric poles if you have them like that. It's beautiful. I noticed that when I set up this stuff in here for the science labs, that's why the science labs have this orientation. Just because it's perfect. It works well when designed like that. So let's get this actually all powered. And this will come in from over on this side. Alright. Really? Did I not ever actually put a train? I didn't ever actually put a train on these electronic components. So yeah, I need to go and take a look at that and put an actual train to deliver stuff. Yeah, that would be ideal. Anyhoozle. This is how I share belts. There we go. That will almost be good. I just need that train of electronic components. Speaking of which, since I am going to go past my mall here, I will pick up some additional locomotives, and I need to get some more cargo wagons while I'm at it. So let's go ahead and do that. Right quick, yeah. See, it's been 24 minutes. I think we're going to have enough time. Take a whole bunch of that. Take more of those. Green, blue inserters would be nice as well to have on hand. More of those. More of those. More of those. And just more. Just more. More of the everything is fantastic and great. And I love it. Okay, off we go to get that actual train set up on the electronic circuit. Electronic circuits? No, electronic components right over here. Always have to be careful in what I say, because I don't want confusion. Because the names are very similar. I would rather they not be called electronic components when we already have electronic circuits. Those are very, very similar names. And because it's only 5 per second, it's going to be a pretty good idea to limit these a lot. Like to 1 stack apiece. I am not really carrying any coal on me. Oops. Alright, well, I have wood at least, right? Yes, I have some wood. Take that. Do components. S2D. Circuit condition there. Off you go. Do the thing. Also, yes, as pointed out, when I am in a train manually, in a locomotive, I should say, I can absolutely just control click on the rail map wherever I want the train to automatically take me without manually driving through the intersections. That has been pointed out to me. I don't ride trains much unless I have to ride locomotives manually. I just gave that thing all of my fuel, so I can't even use this to get back where I want to go. But yeah, it would be better to just do it that way, not manually drive through the intersections. But eh, eh, not a thing I usually do to begin with. I try to avoid it, and we're about to be getting our car very shortly, and using our vehicle fairly shortly. I just need fuel for the vehicle, and as it turns out, I can make fuel for my vehicle. I'm probably going to bootstrap fuel for my vehicle. The thing about that is it needs solid fuel, and it needs hydrogen. If I look at fuel, glorious fuel, I can either do light oil directly, which I can't do until chemical science, or I can do solid fuel and hydrogen. I can absolutely do petroleum gas into solid fuel, but the hydrogen is going to require water electrolysis, which is sand, and that limits things dramatically. Once I get atmospheric condensation, that would be far, far superior. And once I get advanced chemistry, it can just split water. That would be even better. I would like that too. It would be greatly appreciated. Alright, you are not moving because you do not have the outputs. So congratulations, we now have red circuits. Non-zero red circuits. It is glorious. Glorious and magnificent. I still don't have the fuel. Whoopsies. How about I go and grab some fuel? Speaking of the fuel from fuel refineries, I am pretty sure we could also use them in trains and have our use them in locomotives and have our locomotives move faster by using the fuel. I think that is a thing. So what I would really want to do actually is have an area making fuel and providing fuel to my fuel stop. Just replace the fuel stop's coal input with a fuel input and use the fuel on my locomotives. Just switch out what they get over time. And eventually, as the trains operate, they will eventually refuel with all that stuff. I have come for fuel. Let me grab that. I've also come for a few more doohickeys. Maybe a few more assembling machines. we shall see. But that's done, basically. There we go. Grab a whole bunch of that. Get them providing. Speaking of getting things providing, let's get them actually providing. Red circuits. There we go. So that is done. Ah, yes, I do need sulfuric acid to get into the chemical tech cards, so that will be next. Alright, red. Oh, that's request. At the science things, yes, I know that's broken. So, S, red circuits, D, red circuits, full cargo, circuit condition, set to automatic. You are going to be limited to 2 stacks in each wagon. Because this is only 5 per second max. And everything was awesome. Next! Next comes sulfuric acid. Now, sulfuric acid is going to require me to do a little bit of extra work. I have a spot already set for this sulfuric acid production. Let's have a look in Hellmod at sulfuric acid. We need iron and we need sulfur, which is petroleum gas, to make that. Let's say that I want 300 units per second of that. That would be 450 petroleum. I don't have that total. So this really, I guess, is going to be planned around the concept of having 100 sulfuric acid through the power of iron and petroleum and water. We'll go ahead and pin this so that I have a good idea of what's what. Also, is this exactly 2? I'm pretty sure this is exactly 5 into 2. That's a not nice ratio. I will make that very clear. Alright, I have a setup to pull in already. It is this setup that I will just yoink. I don't have my large storage tanks, oh noes! Well, fortunately, we are literally right across the tracks from my mall. So let's go grab this stuff. It has been 33 minutes, so unfortunately, I don't believe that I'm going to actually get into the chemical tech cards today. We will get into that in this next episode. But I will at least put down this infrastructure here for us today for the sulfuric acid. I am here for the storage tanks, which I should have plenty of these particular large storage tanks. I may as well refresh myself with the full-size stacks of the tanks in general. Moving right along. Actually, I think I will finish setting this up in the next episode. What I'll do is I'll finish the placement and get the requests in on the train station, and then we will build this infrastructure next time. Just because I'm thinking of the future here. I need a lot of videos to pre-record, and ideally this will mean that I need to keep them cut a little bit shorter than normal. But yeah, anyway, this is our iron at sulfuric acid 1, and this is our no, I can just modify the end at sulfuric acid 1. And you are S, and you need to be desulfuric sulfuric acid 1. Renaming of the stations like that is infinite distance. Reach distance. Anyway, I want you. And I want you being brought in. With that, folks, and with the train station set up for the sulfuric acid, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku's Showboat. If you have enjoyed today's video, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below. As always, you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushowboat if you are so inclined and able. I will be back next time where we will be getting into the chemical tech cards. I will see you all then.